New questions and ideas, Part 4. Hello, students. Let's start Part 4 of the chapter New Questions and Ideas. And today we'll start this video with the topic Monasteries. What do you understand by monasteries? Monasteries were the settlement for the nuns and monks because in the particular season they used to stay and they stopped their traveling. So for that purpose monasteries were set up. So how the monasteries were set up and what was the journey of monasteries? Let's start. To begin with, both Jaina and Buddhist monks went from place to place throughout the year teaching people. So first of all, dear students, you have to understand why the monks traveled from one place to another place. Why they used to go from one place to another place. Only to teach the people because they wanted to spread the ideas of Mahavira and Mahatma Buddha. So for spreading their teachings, the monks used to go from one place to another place. The only time they stayed in one place was during the rainy season because in rainy season it was very difficult to have the journey and to go from one place to another place due to rain. When it was very difficult to travel, as we have discussed, then their supporters built temporary shelters for them in gardens or they lived in natural caves in hilly areas. As you can see in this picture, this is the image of a cave in Karle. Karle is situated in Maharashtra at this time. Monks and nuns lived and meditated in these shelters in the spare time during the rainy season, especially. As time went on, with the passing of time, many supporters of the monks as we have discussed, were male bhikkhus and nuns were female, means bhikkhunis. And we want to discuss that with the passing of time, many supporters of the monks and nuns and they themselves felt the need for more permanent shelters. And so monasteries were built. So dear students, monasteries were permanent settlements and these were the permanent shelters for monks and nuns. These were not like permanent settlement. For example, at this time you are living in your home for permanently, but these shelters were for staying monks and nuns during the difficult season like rainy season. So these were known as viharas, also called viharas. The earliest viharas were made of wood and then of brick. Some were even caves that were dug out in hills, especially in western India. After that, very often the land on which the vihara was built was donated by a rich merchant or a landowner. As you know that these monasteries were set up on the land and developed as shelters. So these kinds of shelters were prepared by the supporters of monks and nuns and the followers of Buddhism and Jainism. But you know that these viharas or monasteries were built and donated by the rich merchants, landowners, or by the kings. The local people came with gifts of food for monks, clothing, medicines, right? In return, they taught the people. Who? Monks and nuns taught the people. They used to give the teachings of Mahatma Buddha and Mahavira. Over the centuries, Buddhism spread to many parts of the subcontinent and beyond. So we'll learn more about this in chapter 9 of this book. After that, elsewhere, we'll discuss about elsewhere later. First of all, we have to discuss about the system of ashramas. What was the system of ashramas? Around the time when Jainism and Buddhism were becoming popular, Brahmins developed the system of ashramas. In Hindu methodology, the system of ashramas became very famous. Brahmins developed it. You have to remember, Brahmins developed this system. Here, the word ashrama does not mean a place where people live and meditate. Ashrama, you have used this word ashram. Ashram in Hindi, ashrama means the place where gurus used to teach the shishyas, and they used to live there with meditating the things and live in natural environment. So here the meaning of ashrama is the stage of life. It means life was divided into various stages. Four ashramas were recognized: brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa, also known as sannyasa, right? So these all the stages were divided, each of 25 years of human life. 25 years. From birth to 25 years of age, brahmacharya. Everyone had to follow the rules of brahmacharya, and without being married and without being any kind of the person with luxurious habits. And so 25 years. Next 25 years till 50 years of age, grihastha. In this period, the person could marry, could have the children, and spend the life with the family, and pay all the duties towards the family members. Grihastha. Vanaprastha. In this period, the person had to go outside the home and had to leave the home and family, go in the forest, and this was called vanaprastha. And in the forest, they had to give up the married life, live in the forest and meditate there, also known as vanaprastha. In the fourth stage, it was till 75 years, 50 to 75 years. So brahmacharya till 25 years of age, grihastha 25 to 50 years, vanaprastha 50 to 75 years, and sannyasa or sannyasa 75 to 100 years. This was the life when finally the people had to give up everything and become sannyasis. This system of ashramas allowed men to spend some part of their lives in meditation. Generally, women were not allowed to study the Vedas, and they had to follow the ashramas chosen by their husbands. So whatever their husbands told them, they had to follow. So this was the system of ashramas, in which you have to remember four parts were there of the life, each of 25 years of span: brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasa. So now we'll discuss about elsewhere. We can find Iran in our atlas. Zorostar was an Iranian prophet. Zorostar. His teachings are contained in a book called Avesta, also known as Jain Avesta. Jain Avesta is religious book of Parsis. The language of Avesta and practices described in it are very similar to those of the Vedas. Like Vedas, so the basic teachings of Zoroaster are contained in the maxim: good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. Here is a verse from the Jain Avesta: Lord, grant strength and the rule of truth and good thinking, by means of which one shall create peace and tranquility. So here the teachings of this book also following means follow peace and good thinking. For more than 1,000 years, Zoroastrianism was major religion in Iran. You have to remember, in Iran. Later some Zoroastrians migrated from Iran and settled down in the coastal towns of Gujarat and Maharashtra, and they were the ancestors of today's Parsis. So today's Parsis are belonging to which religion? Zoroastrianism, or the means belonging to Zoroaster's teachings. So dear students, one more thing is left here. This one, a Buddhist text tell us. What Buddhist text is telling us? Just as the waters of rivers lost their names and separateness when they flow into the mighty ocean. So are Varna and ranks and family forgotten when the followers of the Buddha join the order of monks. So simply, for example, this is Ganga river, right? From Gangotri to the Bay of Bengal, in Indian Ocean, Bay of Bengal. After that, it lost its name, right? It loses its name. But in the same way, the separateness, when they flow into the mighty ocean, they lost their names. In the same way, Varna, if we talk about our Varna, ranks, about family, everything is completely removed when the followers of the Buddha join the order of monks. If we join the Buddha, right, as monks, so we leave everything like our varna, our caste, our ranks, our family, etc. So we are mingled into the big and mighty preachings of Mahatma Buddha. So dear students, this is the explanation of these parts of the chapters. I hope that you understood this chapter. It was very important and easy chapter. If you have any doubt, you can ask me by writing in comment box. Thank you. Have a nice day.